For those of you who have been out in the field working, and for those of you who want to go out into the field working, these are some of the things. What are some of the qualities for field work, for you to be out there? I have only listed just a couple. But if you look at each of them critically, I would like to say, be passionate about the ministry. Whatever it is, be passionate. If you're not passionate about it, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to be struggling. One way or the other, you're going to be struggling. If you're passionate about it, then a lot of other things will fall in place. Accept that the poor have something to teach you. If you can accept that, and if you have it in the back of your mind that they have something to teach, then you'll be able to work very well with them. Have a partnership mindset. That's a hard one. It's hard for a very simple reason. Organizations from here come with the money. They have the money. And when you have the money, when you control the money, it's hard to consider the other person as a partner. And if you're able to see that and see it as a partnership, then I think you've gone a long way into being able to work together. Identify with those you're working with in every way possible. Try and identify with them. Be creative and culturally sensitive in dealing with the poor. How is that possible? Can you do that? A bit of studying. What is their culture? Which part of the world are you going? What is the predominant culture? How can you fit into it? And then, at the end of it all, if you're really coming from here, I would challenge you to work yourself out of a job. Now that's a hard one. But I would challenge you to always think about that. 5 years, 7 years, whatever number of years. But can you consider yourself saying, I'm going to go there and I'm going to train somebody from that country to take over my job in 5 years? That's a hard one. And very few of us will do that. Now let me go to my last slide here. Pitfalls to avoid. Just like in the previous slide. Few pitfalls if you're going to be out there in the field. Up to now, we're saying too many people have been out, they have exploited the poor. And it's still going on. What makes you different? What really makes you different? If you look at yourself and you want to go out there in the field, you want to go work with the poor, they've been exploited all these years. What do you think makes you different? If you can ask yourself that question and be able to provide an answer that there is something different in me, then you're a long way into answering that. Avoid Western arrogance and patronizing tendencies. I think I mentioned that in another way. Because you have the money. It's a big thing, even in the church. Ironically, even in the church. It's a big thing in there. There is so much, yes, I control it. I can tell you what to do and you have to do it. And some of them are subtle and some are just blunt. Really blunt. If you can be sensitive to that, it touches into the cultural sensitivity, it touches into all those other things. But if you can avoid that, I think you're doing very well. Avoid personal agendas. I have met a lot of people. I've worked with different organizations, by the way. I've worked with the Navigators for a number of years, and a few others that have been involved in one way or the other. You find a lot of people who just want to add to their CV. That is the main reason for going out. I'm going to do 6 months, I'm going to do 3 months, I'm going to do 1 year. But the whole agenda is me. Because I want to boost my CV, and that becomes, it's me. Avoid that if you can. Don't use the third world situation merely to advance your agency, whatever organization that you're working for. Allow to do that. It becomes a major fundraising tool. You can have more money as an agency. And you're merely using it, it really has nothing to do with the overall intention to assist in poverty alleviation. And avoid the fallacy of poverty experts. Experts. I meet so many of those experts. And sometimes I just go like, oh, there are so many experts. Okay. You even have a poverty expert. I mean, how can you be a poverty expert? How do you do that? But you find them, and they claim so because they have spent these many years in this slum, and they have spent these 3 years in working in a refugee environment, and so now I'm an expert. if you find another title, at least, not that one.